Hello, and welcome to another edition of the National Retail Solutions Insights podcast. I'm John Lovestock, and today I'm very proud to be joined by another industry expert, Alex Baloga, who is the president and CEO of the Pennsylvania Food Merchants Association, which is a statewide trade association that advocates on behalf of the food and beverage industries. And the membership includes convenience stores, supermarkets, independent grocers, wholesalers, distributors, and vendors all alike. And if you know anything about the C-store market in Pennsylvania, it is not for the faint of heart. It is very, very competitive with some wonderful suppliers and obviously some wonderful retailers. So, Alex, welcome. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me, John. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Great. Yeah, I think I did a podcast with you guys back in my former life. And so naturally, I figured let me return the favor and get you on to talk about some of the great things that PFMA is doing. And in this, I can't even imagine with all the work you have to do with the retailers, that's hard enough. But then you throw in a full legislative cycle and all the other things. You guys must be busy.
Yeah, it's busy, but we're really fortunate. We have a great group, as you mentioned, wholesalers, retailers, suppliers up and down the food supply chain, and we're fortunate we've had a really long-standing relationship with a vast majority of our members. I think something like 80% of our members are 5 years or longer in the association. So we really have been fortunate with our board and with our membership. It's a great group.
Sure, and very active. So, what are some of the things I know years ago it was bringing beer to convenience stores, and that
Yeah.
was a personal favorite of mine, and that went
Mhm.
very well, and the results seem to be working out well. So, what are some of the key issues you guys are working on now?
Yeah, that was, as you mentioned, that was really kind of a paramount issue. And, with the help of a lot of our members, we were able to get that done. There's still work to be done. Even in the alcohol space last year, in fact, we were able to get the ready to drink canned cocktails in the retail stores. That was a big win. So we continue to focus on really what we call consumer choice and convenience issues. Like being able to next would be something like delivery. Certain products you can deliver like beer, but you can't
Mhm.
order your wine or your RTDs and get them delivered to your house like other products. So it's really just kind of continuing to bring Pennsylvania into what I would consider the 21st century at this point. We're probably somewhere in the early 2000s in Pennsylvania in terms of our adult beverage policy. So we're slowly getting there. We've made some headway, but there's a ways to go. So that's a big topic.
Mhm.
Things for the industry continue to be challenges. Workforce development is a huge deal, right?
Yeah.
Being able to get
Huge.
skilled labor and be able to retain and bring in new folks and uh, you know keep that kind of status going within the industry. Being able to find the right people and build them up and kind of bring them to another level within the organization is something that our folks are looking at. Also, helping people that may be returning citizens or people with challenges coming into the industry. Those types of things.
Mhm.
SNAP and WIC are a big deal. We just saw the legislation in Washington, which is going to have a substantial impact on the SNAP population. That's a big one for the industry. Labor issues. We have fuel and tobacco issues in the state.
Huge.
Gaming issues. Our
Actually,
members
that was
have.
the one I was going to bring up, gaming. I was at the Outlook conference a few weeks ago out in California, and I ran into a company that does gaming, and he said called out Pennsylvania and said it's pretty active, or it's getting active in the gaming industry.
Yeah, it's really runs the gamut. I mean, gaming is a huge deal. Obviously, lottery has always been a
Hmm.
major part of the industry, and something that we take very seriously. In fact, the Pennsylvania Lottery is part of the organization, is a member and a sponsor, and has been a long partner. But the games of skill have popped up. That's a big hot button issue. Also, the video gaming terminals. Some of our members have VGTs. So it's kind of the wide breadth of all of those different parts of the industry that's really actively being debated now, and kind of who has them, how many, where, who, what, where, why, when, how, that component of it is being discussed and debated as we speak.
So if we get, yeah, that is a revenue source that I would imagine a lot of the C-store retailers are going to want to tap into. But cigarettes, you mentioned cigarettes earlier. That cigarettes obviously extremely crucial, or tobacco, I shouldn't say cigarettes, tobacco, extremely crucial to convenience stores. I am not up to date on some of the legislation. Is there anything outstanding, any potential bans, anything you guys are working on?
So Pennsylvania, we're fortunate. We worked with our partners over the years to enact some preemptions, which actually prevent local municipalities from putting bans on certain products and things of that nature. At the state level, there's sort of less activity in that space. There, every once in a while, something will pop up. But again, I think we've working with our members and our partners overall in the industry, been able to kind of keep those at bay. Overall, the discussion really centers around a couple of things. One, on the federal level, this low nicotine level or minimal nicotine level uh, regulation that's out there, that's a big concern for a lot of folks. Some of those regulations have died down because of the change in administration. But there's also a lot of conversation and discussion and debate around vape registries. That's a hot button topic as well, something that retailers are looking at to make sure that the illicit market doesn't kind of continue to take hold and explode, which really in a lot of ways it has, which is unfortunate. But that's another topic that's being hotly debated as well, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, with the NAC show coming up in about a month, I'll never forget seeing the vapes for the first time and seeing the flavors and all these things that after the industry fought so hard against FDA and to kind of meet a common ground, and then these guys came on the scene and um, it spawned a whole new era of regulations. But it seems that we're through all that, and the tobacco companies are probably great partners. It was one of the things that always impressed me about how their legislative folks will rally around a state or a federal issue and help you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, they've been fantastic partners to us and the overall industry, and very supportive again of trying to help us tackle these issues, which are very challenging, and
Mhm.
they see it really all over the country.
So, as a president and CEO of an association, you work both sides, retailers and suppliers, and all your members. But looking at, just put on your CEO hat here for a second, and looking at all the associations throughout the country, how do they get retailers more involved? I think we do have good involvement, but it could always be better.
I think the key is communication. I mean, it sounds sort of cliche to say, but a big thing we do, and you and I talked about it a little bit before we started talking here. We put a lot of emphasis on communicating with our members and having conversations, sharing information, discussing topics, providing that in detail to our membership and kind of keeping them in the loop as best we can, and maybe even sharing more than you normally would. And that really helps to create a buy-in. And then people are part of that process. And that's really what they want. They want to, and that's the best case scenario for us, right? The more involved they are, as you just mentioned, the better we all do as an industry. So we really put a focus on that communication and sharing really everything we can share with our members, and really even sharing a lot on the internet, on social media, with just generally with the industry, with folks that are interested,
Mhm.
because the more folks involved, the better off we all do, as I just said. So that's really how we do it. It's just communicating as clearly and transparently as we possibly can all the time.
And yeah, you guys are very active on LinkedIn. You personally are very active on LinkedIn. It is still the best way to reach our industry and reach decision makers, as far as I'm concerned. And one of the things I've always appreciated about Pennsylvania is on the C-store side is the generational um, situation at a lot of the companies, our great C-store companies, because family-owned businesses really still are the backbone of our industry. And Pennsylvania is the king. Wawa, Sheets, Rudders, and on and on and on, who are just they're doers and they get things done and they help everybody. How active are they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was going to
Yes.
say how their input it must mean they must be quite influential.
Absolutely. We're very fortunate, like you said. I mean, I started off the conversation by saying how fortunate we are, and that's a big part of it. Having really what you would call national leaders in the
Mhm.
state, that makes a huge difference. They're on the cutting edge, and there's a lot of even small independent operators beyond those folks that are doing a lot of the same things and that are innovating. And so, Pennsylvania, we're really fortunate to have those companies in the state. But beyond that, we also are a leader. Pennsylvania is really a leader in the snack food area, in the confectionery area, when you talk about like a Hershey's,
Mhm.
when you talk about an Asher's chocolate, the list goes on and on. When you talk about an Utz or hers, I don't want to leave anybody out, but the top kind of folks in these fields are based in Pennsylvania, and I think by any metric. So we're really fortunate, kind of up and down the food supply chain, from supplier to distributor to retailer. We have some folks that are leading the nation in all sorts of aspects of the industry.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention that. So the suppliers obviously they spend money and they support the cause, but just having their expertise, how important is it to get supplier involvement to your mission?
Oh, it's critical. Not only just their support, obviously you mentioned, the supporting with their resources, but with their expertise is even more critical, because we don't know what we don't know. And getting that information from those folks, whether it's on a particular topic or a regulation or something that's impacting the industry, is really critical for us to be their voice. We have to have that information and that involvement. So that's really where they come into play as much as anything. And having that interface with them makes all the difference. So it's a big deal across the board, to have their involvement, and it's really critical. We've really put a focus on that in the organization over the last probably 5 or 10 years, and really lifting up the suppliers and the supplier side within the organization, and kind of giving them a bigger voice, because they're really partners. They care about what is happening, especially at the retail level. So that's, being a retail founded organization, that's really critical to have those partners.
And you referenced this just a moment ago about how things are changing and delivery since, really since COVID. The younger generation and to a certain extent the older generation, just the way they access food service now is different, and it's changing, it's evolving. Mobile apps and ordering online, mobile transmit ordering and delivery are really going to become an even bigger part of the industry, and so it's going to impact suppliers as well. So I would imagine there's a lot of conversations going on between everybody, dialogue between retailers, suppliers, and yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's really the key, the conversation, the dialogue. We do that in a number of different ways. I mean, we talked about, kind of the communication we do internally. But we also do that. We have internal committees that meet on all sorts of different topics that are comprised of the experts within those companies. So things like loss prevention and food protection, sustainability, weather related issues, could be fuel related issues. We have a convenience products group, which is kind of like a combination of wholesaler, suppliers, that meet and talk about different topics. And this could be anything ranging from a regulation to kind of, best practices, like what are you seeing in this area? How are you
Mhm.
tackling? A big one is retail crime, right? That's a big one for everybody. So what are you seeing? How are you dealing with this? Trying to make sure that everybody is doing the best they can, and sharing the information that will help strengthen the overall industry.
Mhm.
So that's really how one of the ways we encourage the conversation.
The National Retail Federation puts out a theft study every year, and I can't believe it doesn't get more press than it does. The numbers are staggering. How much product is walking out the organized theft rings, and you sound like a conspiracy theorist, but until you read the numbers, it's real. This theft is real.
It's hard to fathom, like you said, and we're fortunate in Pennsylvania that it's really been taken seriously. The retail, the industry always takes it seriously, has always taken it seriously, and really has gone above and beyond to try to combat it. But it has to be a holistic approach. It has to be private industry. It has to be law enforcement. It has to be the public sector too. It has to be the government. And in Pennsylvania, we've been fortunate that our government partners and our law enforcement partners have really stepped up. We created an organized retail crime task force within the Attorney General's office. We worked with the Attorney General's office to do that. Last summer, that took effect. We passed the law in 2023, and there's funding behind that, almost $3 million. So there's an established organized retail crime task force, which is headed up by Deputy Chief Attorney General, and has investigators and deputies within that organization in the Attorney General's office that's helping to combat those issues. So we're fortunate in Pennsylvania, we have that buy-in, but that's what it really takes to start to make a dent. It's very challenging.
Sure. And as you're saying that, I'm just thinking about the videos that we see from other states who are not as buttoned down, and that hurts the industry overall. It hurts the perception. It could hurt customers, their view of whether they're going to go into a store at night. And we had seen in other states retailers like Walgreens picking up traction because they viewed them as safer and more well lit. And I wish that these lawmakers in other states kind of realized the impact that their non-involvement is having on the industry as a whole and on people's ability to make a living as a whole.
You couldn't have said it better. It's a quality of life issue. I mean, as you know better than anyone, these stores are really anchors in the community. They are community centers in a lot of ways. They're the place that people go to meet and to congregate. There are places people go, whether just to run in and grab something for their family or sit down and have a bite to eat, to fuel up, to do whatever they need to do, and they rightfully expect and deserve to be safe. So it's important to everybody to be pulling in the same direction on that because it really impacts everyone that goes into these stores, which is really everyone that goes anywhere in a given day. I mean, are going into our members and the industry stores at any given time. So it's really that important to get a handle on these things.
Good. Now, before we wrap up, there's one thing I did want to mention, and that was something I was very proud to see. I know you guys do a lot for your members, but you initiated a new scholarship program or a new scholarship in the name of a dear friend to the industry, Lisa Della Alba with Square One Markets, a trailblazer, a great woman, a good friend. So, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, we were like really everyone in the industry and really beyond. It was kind of amazing the reach that Lisa's impact had. We unfortunately lost her. She was an amazing person and just an amazing friend and partner. She was our first female chair of the association. And she just was a force, really a force of nature, I think is putting it the right way. She just impacted everybody that she was around in such a positive way, and we were really lucky to know her. So we really thought of, how can we maybe have a small impact in not anything near what Lisa's impact has been and will be in the future through the work that she did in her community and beyond. But we wanted to do a small thing to honor her memory, and that was something that we decided to do was create a scholarship within our Thomas and Laura Ridge scholarship program in the association that we give to members of the association and their families every year. There's a judging component. So Lisa's name is part of one of the scholarships honoring her memory and her legacy, which continues on. So we felt honored to be able to do that, and so just a small thing to really again remember her and her impact, which was immense.
Good. That's great to hear, and I hope you publicize the results when they come out so we can keep it in the trade press and keep her name out there. So, all right. So, what's going on for you? Any speaking engagements? Will you be going to the NACS conference? What do you have coming up?
So our team will be at the next conference. Mike from our team will be there. He'll be representing the association. Um, Speaking engagements, yeah, we have a lot of stuff going in the fall. We have our fall conference coming up in October 7th and 8th in Hershey. So that'll be a great event. It's our fall legislative conference. And of course, as you mentioned, the legislative session. And we cover not only state issues, but we work on federal issues and local issues. So, things like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, which are always hotbeds of activity legislatively. So there's a lot of stuff along those lines. And part of a speaker series up in northeastern Pennsylvania that I'm going to be doing with a university up there. Hasn't been publicized yet, but so there's some other things along those lines that are happening. But it's going to be a busy fall, but I think, got a lot of momentum and a lot of support from our members and the industry as a whole. So we're very fortunate and excited for kind of what the future is going to bring here.
Excellent. Yeah, I love seeing the great work you guys are doing. So, I just wanted to get you on and talk a little bit about little business. So, good. I really appreciate you
Yep.
coming on, Alex. Thank you. Keep up the great work.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So, for Alex, I'm John Lovestock. I would like to thank everyone for tuning in to another issue of the NRS Insights podcast. We hope to have you again on a future podcast and have a good afternoon, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you.